I'm going to be very brief because we've spoken before and we know the issues that we share concerns over. But you know, there are issues involving employee benefits, future of the pension system, that need to be looked at in order to allow cities to be structurally sound and municipalities to be structurally sound. I understand that there is under consideration a tier 6 on the pension plan, which, you know, I don't know how many tiers they can have, but it seems to keep going up. But that's obviously an improvement. One thing that was mentioned was, you know, in conferencing and trying to split up this pie that's rapidly getting smaller, sometimes there's an indication, well, I should get the money because I have less. But I think there needs to be also an assessment of the municipalities and school districts that worked very hard so that they didn't find themselves in that condition. I mean, we in White Plains made some severe cuts last year that were very difficult. And because of that, you know, we've managed to maintain most of our services and we're able to stabilize the tax rate. And, you know, we're looking at another tough year. But, you know, I hope that, you know, municipalities that are less cautious and find themselves in real dire straits not necessarily get all of the assistance, because some of the rest of us could use it as well. I will, and I don't even know the status of this, but I will comment on my particular pet peeve of funding. And just a year or two ago, maybe 3 years ago, funding was proposed to study a new law school at SUNY Binghamton, at SUNY Stony Brook, at St. John Fisher in Rochester, and I think another location. And it's estimated that in the state of New York, the law schools we already have generate enough lawyers each year to satisfy the job market for 7 years. So it seems to me that if there is any continued funding or proposed funding for any of these new law schools, I would be opposed to that. I think we do have a public law school. I attended it, SUNY Buffalo. I think I realize that a lot of the institutions would love to have another law school, but I think in the type of financial situation we find ourselves in, that is certainly a luxury that we can do without. I know it seems that schools are hit harder than the municipalities. Our aid is not really reduced that to as great an extent, and that's why our concerns are more focused on what we refer to as unfunded mandates, increasing pension costs and health care costs. And I will provide, Assemblyman Castelli, I will send you a note with some of the details on that. Some of the ones that I've thought of are a little less flashy than the ones that you and I discussed during our campaign, but I think there are some things that we are required to do that really don't serve much of a purpose, and really would be no skin off anyone's back if we just did away with them, and they would save us some money. So we're in communication, and I know we're already working together on a couple things, so I look forward to working with you on some of those. I thank everyone for coming out tonight and for being concerned about your community to come out and be part of this program. Thank you.